We sipped coffee
okay.
at my house in Concord
did have
as
to do
a
that.
7 and 8 year old. Okay. Y'all, it does not stunt your growth. It does not mess you up. Of course, I guess the jury is definitely still out
I don't know
on
that you're the one to say that.
Point being, I was required to have discussions at my breakfast table with my family and eat a breakfast. And I was like, eye rolling for days. But at the same time, it's a habit that I got into. We're ready, rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Lee. What's up?
Happy day. We are trying to get warm. It's the
Yes.
winter time. Even in our sweaters in the heat, we feel a little chilly.
Yeah, we do. We're right here in the studio, and it's wide open with the AC blowing.
No, it's not.
It feels like it. Anyway, we're glad to be back.
Hi.
Yeah.
So here we are in the new year, having fun.
Yeah,
and I
having
guess-
fun. Are we
is
having
it?
fun? Are we doing all the things just right for the 2026 to start? How are you feeling personally?
You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some good things we've done.
Mm-hmm.
You were a speaker at an event a few weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that was felt productive
Right.
and helped us we participated in doing some of the exercises at the end, which I thought were helpful
Mm-hmm.
in doing those, start of the year.
Right.
What do you call it? Like a
Checking in with yourself and see where you've been and see where you are presently and where you want to go.
Yes, an inventory,
And I
if you
think
will.
that's a really great, thing to do at the beginning of, I think in January. We're used to I don't think anybody makes resolutions anymore. If you are, good luck. Because I don't know anybody that keeps them. But I really hope that you can focus. And this is what I think, I'm going to go ahead and segue into what we were talking about we might
Sure.
want to discuss today, was focusing on prioritizing yourself, which can come off as a very narcissistic, very selfish, very, what's it called, quote unquote, main character-ish kind of a thing to say. But right now, with all the stresses, I believe, I think globally, maybe locally, community-wise, maybe the United States, however it is for you, I think we've got to really hunker down with ourselves and make sure we're taking care of ourselves first, which I know for you sometimes, and me too, can be really uncomfortable.
Right. I mean, before we kind of go there, I'm going to push back a little and be like, do we think that it is, in fact, that hard for people to take care of themselves? And let's dive into what does that mean? And I think we've heard the term self-care, over and over again. And I know there are a lot of things and hacks out there in the world that promote themselves as self-care. And is that working? Right. So I kind of want to deep dive into what really is self-care. And like you said, I am a little bit more, and we've talked about this before, like in the martyr category of putting other people's needs first. I think that, as women, one of our natural traits and tendencies is caretaking. And so therefore it is easier,
Right.
if that's part of our genetic code, to take care of other people first.
I think that's
And
not
ahead of ourselves.
I think that's a positive for women. I think that's one of our superpowers, is to be able to take care of others. But I think our real superpower comes by empowering yourself in order to be able to be even bit more present for people that need you. And I think people need us more than ever. I think women's voices, women's compassion, women's
Energy.
ability to bring together division and sowing, goodwill in the midst
Right.
of other things is important. And I think that you just made a really good point, because a lot of people say self-care, I'm going to get my nails done, I'm going to go get my
Exactly.
massage, and if I'm
Exactly.
an influencer, I'm going to get it all for free, that kind of stuff,
Yes. That was my point.
I suppose
is to
that's
differentiate
yeah.
between what is the actuality
Right.
of self-care and putting yourself first that does elevate the people around you in your world.
Right.
And I think there is a point of physical self-care that is
absolutely
productive and feels great. I mean, who doesn't like to physically feel better or treat themselves to, I always do a manicure. I use the excuse that, I'm barefoot teaching, so I have to. And those things
I'll write it
do
off.
feel, yeah, there you go. You got to play smart.
Yeah. I mean, we're on camera. We get to write that off. And that is self-care. But
what do we really mean by putting yourself first?
Right. I think, in my case, I'll speak to me. I have to have my time that is all for me. And it's not just going to get the massage, which is a great, great, great thing. And I will use that every day as a self-care, but really just sort of spending time away from other people, other things, my phone, whatever it is to sort of, soothe my own soul.
Right.
Unless we prioritize our own selves, we can't have that energy that it takes to do what we do best. And I know that women do this better. It's our energy is to care for others. I mean, we are, whether we have children or not, we are caretakers of our planet. We're caretakers of our people that we care about. I know also the dark side of that is we flip it and sometimes we have no more bandwidth.
Right.
We're on that 1%, and we're like, I literally have nothing left.
Yeah.
So before we get to that nothing left, I suggest we all take a moment to ourselves and find out what it is. I have mine, and I'm going to make you do yours first, but I have a certain way of taking care of me to make sure I'm ready for my day. And I do it every single day. Tell me about you, though.
Okay, so you're asking kind of what is my non-negotiable when it comes to setting myself up for success?
Maybe it's the end of the day, whatever it is,
I was going to say I don't have a real great, or not that it's good or bad, but I don't have a morning routine that is important to me other than sleep as long as I can and then get up and get ready and go.
But you recognize that about yourself.
I do.
And I think that is part of it. You recognize, look, I don't need that hour in the morning to get my ducks in a row and to meditate or do whatever. You recognize I am a doer, but then where is it in your day that when you don't do it, you suffer for it? That's a hard question. Yeah, because it's hard because you on the spot.
I think that I am able to continue to go and just know when to stop versus have a habit or a routine that is necessary in order to keep myself from falling off the cliff. So it's almost like a kind of running gauge. I have to kind of constantly be aware of it's time to stop, whatever that means. If it's time to, that is a big one for me of stop working, stop doing the thing, sit down and have what I say, a meal of food.
Right.
To stop working, to get up from the chair, to go on a walk, to, stop cleaning the kitchen and go sit down for 5 minutes and do whatever. And so really it's, if I am tapped in to my needs throughout the day, then I'm able to respond and carve out that time. At this point, thankfully our career, it's flexible. I'm prepared to teach a class and I'm prepared to work and be available for calls and emails and thoughts and all of that. And my kids are older, so I know the windows when they need me and I'm able to say yes or no. And I know the windows when you need me and I'm generally able to say yes or no. So that's kind of mine. It's not like a non-negotiable habit. It's being really aware.
Being aware.
And I lose it if I'm not aware. I'm either too tired or too hungry or too frustrated or I've let it all pile up and haven't dealt with it.
Right.
What's your non-negotiable?
Well, I was thinking about that because I have an obvious one that I am the person that gets up that hour before I don't have kids at home. I just still have to get up an hour before anybody else is thinking about talking to me or making me respond to anything. And I need to spend it really doing like the quickest on the planet meditation of just gratitude because that really centers me. And that's before I even get out of the bed. And then I spend close to an hour, some days I can't, but close to an hour of really quietly making my smoothie, my protein smoothie, quietly sipping my coffee. And then when I'm grounded enough, checking the news, and then, paying attention to how my body feels and moving forward. When I step out of my house, literally, when I take a step out of my house, I feel I'm grounded. I feel like I'm ready to walk into whatever I need to walk into. For me to jump out of the bed and go, I'm not sure how that works for me.
I don't think
it works well. But one thing I learned, you learn about yourself the more you get older and grow,
Right.
the more we're around and we age. And for instance, movement. Last week, I was doing a lot of work that did not allow me to come into the studio. Mm-hmm. And so I did things like I did my walks, which I'm always saying, go out and do your walks, whatever you can do. Do your 10 push-ups. I did those things, and it wasn't enough. I needed to come in here and do my workout. And
I know.
I was craving it. And so I even go into my little gym that I used to be, I'm still a member of it, and I sometimes go and lift some heavy weights. I was missing that charge that I get from the community and the workout that we do in here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Was it really the physical, or was there more to it?
Well, the physical and the mental
community.
and emotional for me, and I think for everybody, we
one.
like to say it's something different. It is one thing.
Right.
And my physicality has always dictated my mental health and my emotional health. Period. It's not the mental over my physical. It's my physicality is where I live, and that means it's where my emotions are more stable. It's where my thoughts are more stable and more coherent and less chaotic.
Yeah.
And so I was feeling a little bit. I wasn't myself when I wasn't coming in.
It's interesting.
Into here. This is my priority. This is my prioritizing myself so that I've got the energy to then care for you or care for my family or other people.
Would you say that morning routine of yours, and I'm just curious and just diving into it a little bit, do you think that's more of a habit and tradition, or do you think that's more of a time where you're in actuality trying to self-improve or think or
if you know
go?
Liz, Liz is not getting up going, I need to self-improve today. I don't. No, this comes directly from my upbringing. My mother used to make me get up, and
This is your rebellion.
she would make me get up. No. She would make me get up, spend time. We sipped coffee at my house in Concord as a 7 and 8 year old. Okay. Y'all, it does not stunt your growth. It does not mess you up. Of course, I guess the jury is definitely still out on that.
I don't know that you're the one to say that.
Point being, I was required to have discussions at my breakfast table with my family and eat a breakfast. And I was like, eye rolling for days. But at the same time, it's a habit that I got into. And I think that's a really cool. I really thank my family for this was a part of our lives. You don't get up and go. You just don't do it. Oh, you've got to be at a work. Well, we're all going to. What? I'm not getting up for him. He's the one that's got to be somewhere at 8 o'clock. Breakfast is at 7 today. Pete's got to be somewhere at 9. I'm like, well, he can get himself there, right? So that was a long story. That was a habit, and what that did was I think it's a healthy habit. And everybody likes their sleep. I like my sleep just as much as anybody else, but I also don't feel prepped if I'm just
I get it.
Up and gone.
Right. And that was the curiosity of my question, and kind of the point is, we don't have to dramatize or eventize self-care.
Yeah.
I mean, if that habit and tradition makes you feel good, then that is self-care.
Yes.
And so it's when you're allowing the things in your life, maybe even the people, to get in the way of those habits or omit or diminish the habits, then that's sad. And you have to find a way to put them back in your life in some way. And I know that the roller coaster of life changes, right? And our our responsibilities change.
Well, you're such a good partner for me because you have the opposite of me.
I just shut the fuck up in the morning.
You do. You do. You're just like, okay. And even when we're on the road, whether traveling business or whatever, traveling pleasure, you're like, okay, so I'm going to go do this while you have your time. And I think that's really important. And that's personal care, and that's taking care of one another. That is where you take care of me, and then I'm able to take care of you.
Right. Because I would get itchy and irritated if I copied your habit.
Yeah, you would never make it.
Right? Like I enjoy more than anything spending time with you. But to your point, exactly, if we're on the road.
But I don't want you spending time with my personal time.
That's what I know. I know. So that's therefore why I get up and go. And then we're both serving ourselves in that way instead of feeling, chained to somebody else's routine or rhythm or needs and desires.
But I think importantly, we have to take about the self-care and making yourself a first priority. I think when you set a boundary and say, this is enough. I know that you and I are in contact 24/7, it feels like. And there is sometimes you have to say to me, I've just reached it. I can't answer that question. Questions will have to stop for this, or, whatever the boundary is. Your self-care is knowing when to do that. I have that too. I know when to say when. I know when to say, I'm done for the day. I'm not speaking to anybody else on the phone. We'll get to that tomorrow, or whatever it is.
Sure.
But also self-care, taking care of yourself, and then you're actually able to have more of an intuition or an intuitive quality about what the people you care about really need. Because you're not so exhausted.
Right.
But I think women also have sort of a sixth sense, a quality of sensitivity that picks up on the people we care about. But if we're just wrecked and not taking care of ourselves, we're not able to do that. So I think the beauty of self-care is the beauty of being more powerful of our natural ability of taking care of others. So I would think that's a good idea.
In my opinion, let's do that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's, it's simply said, it's harder to be done. And I know that, that it takes a village, and that community aspect of it is so important.
Right.
Because there are going to be phases when we fizzle out, right? When we're all fizzly, exhausted or fed up or in a trying time of life for whatever reason, a new baby, a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, a change. Change is super hard. And so when we do have more batteries in our tank, that's the time also for us to try to look around and be the self-care for women who are not able to.
And to reach out to the people that maybe can take care of you. And that's where I think we're going to go into that. It's sort of that community of people that I've found that it doesn't have to be a large amount of people in your life, but you need to curate the people in your life that can help you have that time for yourself. And can recognize, they don't have to know your every need, but they're a community of support that honors your decisions, that celebrates your wins, that supports you when you're failing. I've never thought people with 1 billion friends were the people that were the most supported. I see people that are more kind of loners sometimes, that can find people that really support them.
Right.
I'm a loner. I'm an introvert, as we all know, working in an extroverted world.
Sure.
And I do well, I think, in it, because I understand that I need that. I need to lick my own wounds sometimes. And it's hard for me to reach out and go, by the way, I'm kind of wounded. Could you help me here? But I do have that support. I have it from you.
For sure.
And, there's people in my life that I've made that, step out into here's my vulnerability, Well,
vulnerability is the key to all of it.
Yeah.
The more we power through and just pretend that everything's okay, the more that's going to come and beat us overhead and in the face. And one point too, especially with older children, is that to that vulnerable aspect I mean, we do need to make sure our kids feel safe and secure, and they need to see real emotions. And when we can't carry it all, the partnership, the work, the relationships, them, and then all the thousands of things that come with that from, doctors in school and activities and things, it's okay to say, right now, this is how I feel. When you have a time to share that in an honest and open way, I think that's teaching our children by modeling that, hey, like,
sometimes you can't do it. Yeah. Let your children see a frustration or two, or a tear or two.
Right.
Wouldn't
you rather them see that than you lash out at them?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Purely.
Yeah. And the same with friends. Same with friends. I think anytime you lash out, it's pretty much a sense of frustration and inability and insecurity and vulnerability that is being bared out there, and you're terrified. Fear reaches to slashing out, or lashing out at people. So
feels like a symptom of the misalignment, and whatever that is. And we've all been victim to that, and have to have grace for our partner, or whoever it is we're around who is losing it, and grace for ourselves to recognize that, okay, I just lost it. Well, what can I do to get back on the horse?
And I feel like also in this time frame we're in this world in 2026, that we're all surrounded with probably more conflict on the outside of our lives that are really affecting all of us than ever before. I mean, I'm pretty sure in human history we go through these times that we're all, we in our lifetime, maybe we haven't felt all this conflict in our world. I think other people in other lifetimes have. And it is a time where we have choices to make. And the information and the pain that we see out and around us is so overwhelming that in order to even deal with it on any basis, we've got to take care of ourselves first, and then reach out for help, and then do the things. I mean, it is a time of action right now in the world. Yeah. And the people, I think especially it was a time for action for women, because women are the most sensitive. We're the most caretaking energy on the planet. That's not to say that a lot of men aren't the same as us, but I think women, we are born with this innate ability to caretake. And for us to pull into ourselves right now and just go, whoa, I just need to put my head down and I'll be with myself and my people. We kind of are being called on to take care of others, and those even that we don't know, as much as ourselves. This is the do unto others as you would have do unto yourself moment that doesn't come in every lifetime, and but here we are in it.
That's so true. It's again that external, internal self-care, right? What are our own habits, and then what externally is happening to our bodies and to our souls and to the world around us. And it's really rough and challenging right now. And I always want to stick my head in the sand and just hope it goes away. And it just keeps coming and pummeling. And so it's more important to get out of ourselves and work towards something a little more hopeful.
Yeah, and just the small decisions you make, like the words you use with your children, the words you use with your partners. I think it's real important now, going along with what women are naturally capable of doing. We understand our vulnerabilities a little bit more than the male energy, and we understand kindness, and we understand that kindness can what is it called?
Derail?
Yeah, it can derail. It can take away the edge of hurt.
Right. Diminish.
Diminish.
Some of the
I can't
pain.
come up with anything because I'm a little overwhelmed, like the rest of us.
Right.
It's
and it's to your point of speaking the words that we want to hear. I hope we move to a place where we stop spouting.
Yeah.
And repeating the words that are so harsh and negative out there. I'm talking politics bluntly.
But you're right. But unless you are comfortable with yourself, and you can't, then you can't really discern, is this just the norm now to be cruel to people?
Yeah.
To say mean things and just to be okay with it? Or I'm just going to let it slide and pretend that wasn't said.
That's right. That's just as bad.
But my grandchildren just heard that comment on the TV or the news or whatever. am I going to let that slide? Where do I decide? And you can't make any decisions at all when you're terrified or you're not really paying it until you're self-caring enough to be able to use your amazing superpowers as we have,
right,
to care for others in a really actionable way. We need to bring our sort of Wonder Woman to the surface a little bit, you know?
Probably, yes.
I mean, really do.
Because if we've wanted the patriarchy to fall for so long and we're letting it teeter-tot, we may as well be ready, you know?
To thump it over?
You can't, and to stand up and go, well, we didn't want this for so long, but we can't do anything about it. We're not ready to step up into the gap. And we've got to be ready to step up into the gap, you know, vulnerable, aware, and prepared.
Right, exactly. I cannot get the Wonder Woman movie out of my mind, though.
Good.
Now that I said it,
keep it in there.
And I remember, you know, all that, and she was like, "What do you mean? That's a baby over there. We've got to go take care of this." Yeah. You know, Wonder Woman is strong because she understands the vulnerability, and strong people take care of people weaker than them. Weak people try to hurt people stronger than them.
There you go.
That's just the way it is. Not saying women are better than men, but in this case, women might be better than men in some of these leadership roles. And I'm just saying, there's not. It's self-evident to all of us that the might over right has never worked in any century, in any millennium, in anything we've ever known in our lives. Mm-hmm. And for this to literally be spoken out loud right now in our nation, and really throughout the world in many countries and groups of people. And for this to be, even for a moment, thought that was going to work. I'm not even talking about whether it's okay or not.
What are you talking about?
Whether
generally?
Might over right would work.
Okay.
Does being stronger and putting other people down always work? Does it always work? It doesn't have a long game. It fails every single time. But however, the long game is in the compassion and the kindness, which leads to the strength, which leads to the leadership, which leads to the unity and the goodness for all of us, liberty for all, you know?
I do.
So anyway, we went from, that.
Some basics
I've got a real
into the
itch
world.
on this
I bet
itchy
you
sweater.
do. Is it the itchy sweater?
It's
sweater
like getting
like
into my neck.
The world energy.
Yeah.
Hang on, we're going to go, and I hope this isn't connected to your face.
I hope it's not either.
That would be mine, black hairs.
What are you doing? Please don't tell me I have hairs growing out of my face.
You don't. It was a eyelash. So what we should do is
make a wish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on, I got it.
Okay, ready?
Ready? No, you got to push your finger onto my finger.
Okay, I don't know the whole protocol
just
here.
do it with me, okay? Yeah.
There's protocols to lashes.
Ready? And then make a wish. Close your
Okay,
eyes.
okay.
Everybody at home and watching and listening. Ready? Make a wish. Let's make it about like self-care and making the world
let's
better.
go.
Okay. And now we're going to take it off and see who has the eyelash. I do, but you get to blow it and all your dreams will come true.
Wow, that was a long situation. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. I like that.
That's one way we could wrap it up. I get the hair off your head.
I know.
Wish for humanity.
We came into a kind of a rough situation everywhere around us. So it's a day to take care of yourself. Find your alone time. Find your people. Take care of them. But maybe a little vulnerability and kindness today might be a good watchword for you and your people you love. What you think, big girl?
Big girl, what you think, big girl?
Big girl.
Love you.
Love you too.
No, thanks. That was good.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Way to go.
Way to go, Liz.
Way to go. We got the lash done. All right.
Bye.
We're good to go.
See you next time.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to us today, wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, you can now find our podcast on YouTube.
Yeah. If you liked it, please share, rate, and review. We love 5 stars. And we hope you'll work out with us online or in studio at HilliardStudioMethod.com.